I'm stuck in traffic again, so I thought I would share some thoughts. Recently had the NFL draft, so it got me thinking about the NFL versus pool players versus the pool world. And I'm not a big NFL fan, but I know enough about how the sport works to comment here in an educated way. Now, especially now in this day and age, let's take the average NFL draftee. Of course, they have a lot of talent. They have the genetics for what they're doing. But from a very young age, these guys are training. They're learning a position. They're doing, as they move up through intermediate school to high school to college, they're progressively getting more coaching. They're doing more physical training. They're paying attention to their diet. And it wasn't until I moved to Houston that I really discovered or knew about specialized athletic training year-round. See, in Louisiana, we played sports seasonally. We didn't do the same thing all the time. But here in Texas, in Houston, you have kids that start specializing and training in a position for a single sport, and they do that year-round. You got kids that are 14 years old over here having Tommy John surgery because they're not throwing a curveball the right way. So it's a lot of institutional training in schools, and then a lot of private training. There's a huge private sports coaching and training system here in Houston. Private leagues, select leagues, whatever you're in. If you're not in school, you're doing your individual sport and getting better at it. Of course, all that's tied to your parents' income, but you're still training like a professional, even when you're in your early teens. So when they get to the NFL, and now it's your elite college programs very close to the NFL, you have people working with you on your diet. You're doing anti-inflammatory protocols like ice bathing, like sauna, sitting in a sauna, massage. You're taking anti-inflammatory supplements. You're receiving very, very targeted, very tailored weight training, cardio. You have doctors that are always monitoring you. They work with you on your sleep. You got guys, I think I'm saying this right, they sleep in hyperbaric chambers where they're breathing pure oxygen, and they adjust the barometric pressure so it helps with oxygen absorption. Pretty wild. Point is that every aspect, they try to optimize every aspect of their life to perform at a higher level. And when you get to the NFL, you have personal trainers, more than one probably. You have a speed trainer, a speed coach, strength coach, positional coaches, team coordinators. You do film study. Your whole life is centered around optimizing your performance. Now, how this is relevant to a YouTube pool channel is just imagine what that would be like if you superimpose that onto the pool world. Now, the next major thing is a point that Earl made about pro sports versus pool, is that in college now with NIL and the NFL, these guys don't get paid to perform. Now, there is performance-based pay in some of their contracts, but they do have guaranteed money, and that guaranteed money most of the time is in the millions. So whether or not they do anything, if they show up to a game, they get paid 7 figures. So imagine that for a moment. If we're talking about a pool player, let's say we're talking about you. I'll take me for instance. I'm 50 years old. I'll never play pool at the highest level. That ship sailed a very long time ago. But what if like Q-Tech or Lucasi or Predator, if they had the money, and it was enough money in pool, came to me and said, we want to sign you for a 5-year contract for $12 million. We're going to give you $1 million sign-on bonus. We are going to assign you a doctor. We're going to assign you a physical trainer. We're going to assign you a dietitian and a chef. We're going to monitor your blood work. We're going to monitor your sleep. We are going to make sure that you are in tip-top physical shape and health. We're also going to give you a break coach, a technique coach, a pattern play coach, a safety play coach. We're going to have a full billiards coaching staff to develop you, to work with you. We're going to have a regimented schedule for you every day. And whether or not you win a single match, you're going to get that kind of money. Think about that. How well would you do? How well would I do? Even at this age right now, I believe that if I had that kind of financial incentive and that kind of support and coaching and all that, I think I could be a 750. I think that's a baseline number that I could get to. Now, for the existing top pros like Shane, like Federer, like Filler, would that kind of added money and coaching and training, would it make them play that much better? I think it would. It's hard to imagine them playing any better than they do, but I think it would. If the added weight burden of thinking about money and then having a better diet and a better training regimen, I think that alone would make them a lot better. But this is just food for thought. This is just a fun fantasy thought experiment. Tell me what you think. Do you think it would make any difference? Interested in hearing your comments. Hey, y'all have a great day. God bless.